Have you ever seen a damned rascal? Well, now you have. My name is Private John Sparks. I served as a hunter in the United States Army under the command of Lieutenant Zebulon Montgomery Pike. I accompanied him on 2 of his expeditions. The first was up north to find the headwaters of the Mississippi River, and the second was a little tragedy here out west. Damned rascals. Damned rascals. That's what he called me and the rest of the men that served with him. He said it like this: "My men are perfectly capable of getting the job done, but all in all, a set of damned rascals." Oh, we got the job done all right. We gave everything we had under the worst possible conditions. We'd have been a mite more successful had Pike done a little less leading and perhaps, a little less commanding and perhaps a little more leading. Take that little expedition to the headwaters of the Mississippi River. Pike said it was Cass Lake. He was wrong. You see, Zebulon Montgomery Pike was a contemporary of 2 better known and better liked explorers. Can you guess who they were? Lewis and Clark. I don't know if it was professional jealousy or just Pike's ambition for fame and glory, but he had a bit of an image problem. He had a huge image. I don't believe I've met a more pompous prig in my life. Well, the Western expedition started in 1806. Pike was asked, sort of secretly, by James Wilkinson, who was the commanding general of the Army, to lead an expedition to find the headwaters of the Arkansas and Red Rivers. Now this is kind of fishy because because Wilkinson was being paid to spy on the United States by Spain. And he had asked Pike to scout out all of the territory along the southern border of the Louisiana Purchase, even into Spain. Now you see, all of the territory south of the Arkansas River, it belonged to Spain. And the United States and the Spanish weren't on real good speaking terms. Well, oh yeah, Wilkinson didn't even get President Jefferson's permission to send our expedition until after we had left. Well, we got underway in July of 1806, but we didn't make it to the Arkansas until October. And this is where things get a little bit dicey. You see, we'd made very few preparations for winter. We had no winter clothing, supplies, or winter equipment. But the glorious Zebulon Pike decides, "Men, we must press on." Not only had he decided to press on with the mission, but he had taken a certain fascination with a snow-covered blue-gray mountain that we watched rise out of the prairie horizon for the better part of a month. You know that mountain as Pike's Peak. Why it's called that is beyond me. He never made it to the top. Oh, he did make it to the top of Mount Rosa. Does anybody know Mount Rosa? Well, and it did give him a certain distinction as being the first U.S. citizen to summit a mountain in the Rocky Mountains. But the real story is that Pike and the 3 men that were with him had to turn back. They had no warm clothing, they were up to their waist in the snow, and they hadn't eaten for 2 days. Kind of ironic that Pike got a mountain named after him and he didn't even make it to the top. Also, or what's worse, is this should have been a warning for things to come. Well, we met back up here with Pike, right here in what is now modern-day Pueblo. And we rested a while, and had we known what we were about to face, we might have been a little more reluctant to follow his order to press on. Well, we wandered up through the Royal Gorge, and we even spent Christmas in what is Salida, Colorado. We scouted out and we wandered around that part of Colorado. We even left the frozen track of the Arkansas River, only to pick it up again a few weeks later. Pike said it was the Red River. Well, we wandered and we froze, and we froze and we wandered. Occasionally, we'd eat some buffalo meat that I had shot. Eventually, that would wear out or run out too. And then we would starve and wander. Well, we followed the track of this frozen river, and we eventually wandered back into the Royal Gorge. And this is when we realized that we had come full circle. We were no closer to finding the headwaters of any river than we were to finding something warm to wear. Now, there was nothing left to do but press on. We turned our course southwest, Pike still wanting to meet up with the Red River, but by now things had become quite dire. 9 of the 16 men in our company were suffering from frostbite in their hands and feet. Me and 2 others, we had it so bad that walking became impossible. You know what old Pike did? He left us. Now that's leadership for you. I remember him saying, "You men can no longer walk. Your feet and toes are too frozen. Sit tight, and I'll send someone back." Worst days of my life were sitting in a lean-to, thinking Pike had left us behind to die. You can only imagine how cold, hungry, and sick we were. Well, eventually, Pike and the rest made it as far south as what is Alamosa, and there I guess he decides to put down roots because he builds a little stockade, and then he sends men back for the 3 of us. Well, me and another were still way too sick to walk. So you see, we'd lost our toes to the infection and gangrene that comes with frostbite. When we realized that we weren't going to be rescued, I decided it was time to send old Pike a message. I wanted to send him something to help him remember, to not forget about those of us he left behind. So, I decided that the best message I could was to gather up my toes that had rotted off and send them back for Pike. Nice and gangrenous, huh? I did send it back with the rescuers that didn't rescue us. And I only wish that I could have been there to see Pike open the package. Oh, I know it's a little bit dramatic, but I think you got my point. Well, finally it was the Spanish that rescued us. They had come along and spotted Pike's little stockade, and since it was on the southern side of the Arkansas River, they arrested him for trespassing. They took him and the rest to Santa Fe, where they were interrogated and questioned, and I guess somebody remembered to tell the Spanish that there were a couple of stragglers back in Colorado. Well, they came and got us too, and took us to Santa Fe and locked us up in Spanish jail. And I have to say, that was the best prison time I've ever spent. Well, needless to say, after 4 months, they turned us back over to the United States. Pike had gone on before, after a little bit of a diplomatic flap. But we got on with our lives. That's my story and my opinion of Zebulon Montgomery Pike. My name is Polis John Sparks, and I'm a damn rascal.